Phil Lindeman, Crystal 93 News Director, in the studio today with Steve Plummer, local musician and longtime favorite here in Summit County. Steve, thanks for coming in to join me today.
Thank you, Phil.
Yeah, of course. Glad to have you. And we are kicking off a summer music series where we'll be putting the spotlight on local musicians. And Steve, wanted to start with you because you are a force here in Summit County. People can find you regularly. Where have you been playing so far this summer? Kick things off with Dillon Farmers Market.
I did the first Friday, Dillon Farmers Market. I was there, and I play quite regularly at Sauce on the Blue here in Silverthorne. I will be playing at the Arapahoe Basin Local Jam Band Day, July 14th. I'll be one of the acts, and those are my primary gigs.
Great. Yeah, that Sauce on the Blue gig. What do you like about playing, some of those smaller in-restaurant gigs? There's quite a few of those across the county, that's for sure.
That is true. I really enjoy seeing my friends show up and reserving tables, and it just makes it a fun atmosphere. We can interact with each other, and everybody enjoys it as well as I.
Yeah, it's a little bit more than just a concert. You actually get some of that back and forth with the people who are there just enjoying dinner and doing their thing.
Very true, very true.
Great. Now, when you're playing some of the outdoor shows, does your performance change at all from those indoor Sauce on Blue type shows to the stuff where you're playing at the farmer's market or basin or anything like that?
Very much so. I have to anchor down everything when I play outside. As you know, it's very windy here. I put a rock in my tip jar so it doesn't blow away. But as far as the music goes, it's pretty much the same. Indoor crowd, I'll keep it a little quieter. Outdoor, I'll play a little more classic rock and let it rip a little bit and enjoy it.
Now, when you're talking about playing the classic rock, what kind of tunes are your go-to ones, or which ones do you find yourself playing almost every gig that you're at?
My favorite band of all time is Crosby, Stills & Nash. I play a lot of their covers. I cover a lot of their tunes, and I like Dire Straits. I like Tom Petty. I even play Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, a lot of the classics. But I don't limit myself to one era. Even though that's my favorite era, I venture out every year and learn brand new songs that I hear on Crystal. Like Haunted by Design, I learned that one. And if I like a song, I learn it.
Yeah, keeping up with some of that newer stuff too, because there's just so much variety. And I'm sure that people, when you're out playing shows, even though classics are a favorite, people love the classic covers, it's kind of fun sometimes to hear some of those new ones. Is it fun as a musician to be learning and playing some of those new ones too?
Oh yes, because a lot of people that like the classics, sometimes they don't hear the new songs, and when they hear them, they think that I wrote them. So, and I also do originals. I'm getting a lot of requests to hear more originals lately. So. That's been fun.
Yeah, definitely. That's always nice when people are requesting some originals, because sometimes it feels... Now, when you're at these local shows, especially playing background music sort of stuff, do people enjoy the originals, or do you enjoy getting a chance to play those originals on occasion?
Yes, and more so as I go along in my career. I get more requests to, hey, I want to hear what you wrote, So yeah. That's fun when you hear that.
Yeah, definitely. What kind of sound would you give yourself when it comes to the original stuff that you're writing?
Well, my repertoire on covers is quite diverse. And I don't write one type of song. I write folkish type songs. I write plain rock and roll songs. I write blues. I write finger picking soul songs, mountain songs. Just like my repertoire, it's quite varied.
A little bit of everything. Now, when you find yourself generally playing, you play solo more often than not, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, playing solo more often than not. What do you like about the solo gigs?
The band always makes it on time. Their car doesn't break down. Their equipment is in good shape. And it's easier. It's a lot easier.
Yeah, less moving pieces when it's just you and whatever instrument you're bringing that day.
That's right. But I do enjoy it when my friends Leon or Mo come and join me, and that is a kick. I thoroughly enjoy that.
Yeah, tell us, what do you tend to do when you're collaborating with like Leon or anybody else who's playing with you?
Well, Leon and I have done it quite a few times, and we have a few songs that we know well together. Mo Dixon just steps in and plays background and does harmonies, and that's a real treat. Don't get to do that very often, but when he steps in, it's great.
Definitely. Now, looking back a little bit on your career, how long have you been here in Summit full time?
3 years.
3 years full time. But you played, were you coming up for shows pretty consistently before then from Denver?
I spent a third of my life up here before I moved up here permanent, and I played at the Ink Spot and Keystone quite a bit. I played a lot of other places, and it's kind of where I got my start, was at the coffee house.
Yeah, not a bad place to be starting, especially right here now that it's kind of led to, still playing pretty consistently. When you were playing down in Denver, same style music, same stuff that you were playing?
Yes, pretty much the same style. It's just expanded over the years. It hasn't really changed direction.
Still solo for the most part?
That's correct.
And tell me about, even before you really got started playing in Denver, what's your background with music? What did you get started on? How did you get into music?
Oh man, that goes way back. In grade school, played violin in the orchestra. And then when the Beatles came out, that ended the violin career, and picked up a guitar. Did a little garage band in high school, played through college in an acoustic duo, and then I didn't play for a long, long time till I came back up to the mountains, and then started, like I said, at the Ink Spot and revitalized my musical career.
What were you doing in the meantime when you weren't playing music?
I was an engineer down in Aurora, and that kept me quite busy, but I still came up and played gigs at the Keystone Lodge on weekends, and enjoyed it very much.
Still enjoying it to this day?
Oh yes, totally.
Always love it. Now, you were going to come in and play a couple tunes for us. What did you have in mind, or what were you thinking you would pick out for us?
Well, to tell the truth, when I show up to a gig, I don't have a set list. I have no idea what I'm going to play until I get there. I let the spirit move me, the crowd move me, and whatever seems to fit, that's what I play. But I'll probably start off with Pirate on the Ocean. It's the first song on my CD.
Great. Well, Steve, looking forward to hearing what you got for us. We'll be playing that tune right after this. Steve Plummer on Crystal 93.
I am just a pirate on the ocean, searching for that sweet emotion, looking for a mate to set my sail. I'm tired of waiting by the shore, don't want to be sitting anymore, laying in dry docks like being in jail. Now it's time to set out with the tide, leaving with an empty hold inside. Guess I'll have to leave it all behind. Counting on the trades out on the sea, now it's just the wind and stars and me. Guess I'll have to leave it all behind. The raging storm is swirling all around. I see rocks and I'm headed for bad ground. Please rescue me, sinking in the sea. Make it soon before I drown. I am just a pirate on the ocean, searching for that sweet emotion, looking for a mate to set my sail, looking for a mate to set my sail.
that was Steve with Pirate on the Ocean from his new CD. First track on that very new CD. That was great, Steve. Thanks for playing. Now tell me a little bit about this new album.
It's called The Best of Old Herman. Old Herman is my stage name. I got the name in college, believe it or not, and just stuck with it. But it's my first album. It's my best 12 songs, so I called it The Best of Old Herman.
All originals?
All originals.
All
yes.
originals. Great.
And the styles I talked about before, there's every style on this CD. It's not just one type of song.
Very cool. So 12 songs on there. And where can people find this?
It's actually available at Gary's Affordable Music or at my live shows. Those are the only two places you can find it.
Exclusive album. Only
There
two
you go.
places to track it down. No Amazon, no anything else. Now,
right.
if people did want to catch up with your music and your tour dates or where you might be playing throughout town, where can they keep up with that?
My website is oldherman.com. That's simple. If you Google Old Herman, I'll be the #1 find.
Always nice to have Old Herman website handy in case you want to come out and check it. Where'd that nickname come from?
College, wine was involved and pot, so it's a long story, but it's a colorful one.
Long but colorful story. Any chance people can hear that story if they come out to any of your shows?
At one time, I did type out the entire story. It's 2 pages, single-spaced. It's because it's a 2-part story. I call it a 2-beer story.
2-beer story. So buy Steve a beer after one of his shows, and you might just hear the story of Old Herman. Steve, thanks again for coming in to play today. And where can people find you next?
I'll be this Sunday at Sauce on the Blue, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the patio.
This Sunday holiday weekend on the patio at Sauce on the Blue with Steve Plummer. Thanks again for coming in, Steve.
Thank you, Phil. My pleasure.
Of course. Glad to have you on Crystal 93.